Hello and welcome back to The Broken Doll. Today I come to you with the Monica of Hollywood doll here. Now, I want to first say this. Congratulations to Dolly Me. He bought himself a Monica of Hollywood doll. He brought up a lot of interesting little questions that I might be able to answer, or what I think where we're heading towards in understanding this doll more. I have two of these dolls. I thought I had one with the Widow's Peak. When I went back on an old video that I made about my first Monica of Hollywood doll, the hairline is straight across like this one. So I think what it was is that I wanted one, and then it went to I thought I had one, to I do have one, to I don't have one. Okay, so now we got that settled. But let's talk about something he brought up that was really interesting. A couple things. Actually, is her hair human hair? Yes, it's human hair. It's not horse hair. It is human hair. Why do I know this? Because a lot of the articles that I've read, they showed some of the dolls with a wrist tag, and it says right on there, I have human hair. I'm a doll with human hair or something like that. It specifies right on the tag, the wrist tag, that this doll has human hair. She's one of the first and only composition dolls that was rooted right into the composition itself, right into the doll's head. Most of these old dolls had wigs, glued on wigs. Not this one. Her hair is rooted right into her head. So that's really a spectacular feat, you know, that somebody went right to that level of giving this doll rooted hair into composition. I'm like, wow. Okay, so now we understand that part about her. What is going on? Like, one of the things that Dolly Me pointed out is that he washed the hair, which is what I was going to do. But we're going to back that up even more. One of the things that he did was looked up inside of her head and noticed that she had a coating going on up inside of her head. So I'm going to take my doll here. We're going to take her head off, and we're going to take a look and see what he was talking about. So I'm going to go into my trusty little drawer of all my tools, and there we go. And we're going to take her head off, because it's going to have to come off eventually anyways. Let's talk about another problem about my doll right now. You'll see that she has no neck. She does. She has a neck there. But there's a problem with my doll. I noticed it when in my video that I made of her when I got her. And one of the things I noticed about her was that I felt something not right in her buttocks area. And when I pulled it off, she has a broken bum. Easy to fix. We'll fix her bum. And what has happened is allowed the legs to go up and the neck to pull down, and we have this stringing problem going on. It's okay. We can deal with that. So we'll take her underwear off for right now, and we might even take her legs off too, to alleviate some of that pressure on her neck. So let's just do that right now. We're going to take her, just open up those. This might have to have a part 2. You know what we're going to do? Since I got a stringer, let's just cut the rope. You know, I'm going to put new stringing on her anyway, so why go to all that bother? There we go. It's a lot easier this way. Okay, if we can do it this way, let's do her. Now, they used the method of, there we go, of one piece of, and that's not good, to use one piece of tethering for this doll. She should have arm to arm, head to legs for this size of a doll. But okay, let's take a look at her. Just like Dolly Me said, her head has a coating up inside. But that coating doesn't stop. It also, on my doll here, there's something going on her cheekbone. That right there told me something else. Let's talk about that. 1909, a man named Leo H. Baekeland, he created Bakelite. It's a synthetic resin. So I looked up, what does synthetic mean? I say it a lot, but what does it really mean? I know it's a fake product, but I had to look it up just to get a good dictionary meaning for myself, and maybe it'll help you too. It's to imitate a natural product, but it is made of a chemical instead. So they take chemicals and make it imitate or look like a real product. What would be a real product for this doll is the sawdust and glue. Those mucilage glue is what they used back then, and they used sawdust. So now we got that under control. We know what composition's made of, but we know that water and composition don't go together. So what's our next step of what we're thinking here? Well, did they use Bakelite on this doll here? Well, there was another gentleman named Dr. Sylvan O'Greenlee. In 1936, he made an epoxy resin. So epoxy resin is nothing new. I remember back in the early 1970s, my dad worked at a factory. It's where he retired. And he was an engineer there. And he would pay into a yearly thing. And at Christmas time, we would get gifts from the factory. And one of the things my brother got was a resin little kit to make paperweights, keychains, and he would put in a little penny and let it harden, and we go, ooh, ah, you know, type of thing. He would sand the bottom of it and all this stuff, and we thought that was just wonderful. You could put a flower in it. There was all kinds of these little resin kits that came back, that came out at that time, and kids just loved it, and you can make a lot of nifty little things. And my brother got one of those, so I know resin was out back when I was a kid. He was born in 1960. So between 1970 and 72, he received that little kit. So another man, he also, named Paul Shellac, in 1943, he was also synthesizing some, or again, making some fake products up to imitate the real natural products. And he was also. So when did it commercially start to be used? They said in the commercial world, it was being used in the late 1940s. Well, these dolls came out in the late 1940s. So, is it Bakelite? There are tests that you can do, which I won't do on this doll here, but there are tests that you could do. Or is this like a resin that they put on the doll and sandwiched in the composition in between? There's composition in this doll, and they sandwiched it in with a coating on the top and a coating on the inside. Those are possibilities there. Whoops. What was that? Oh, that's her neck thing for the neck. Okay, we don't want to lose that either. Okay, so that being said, now we understand maybe a little bit more about her and why. I know if I received this doll back in the if I was born back in that time and I was a little girl and I received this doll, one thing I would be doing is wanting to wash her hair. And they knew kids were going to do that. So they had to say, hey, you know what? These are going to fall into the hands of little girls. And they're going to want to wash the hair. So they protected the doll's head so that you could wash the doll's hair. There is a coating on this doll, on the inside and on the outside of the doll. So now we understand this doll a little bit more. Is it Bakelite? Maybe. Is it epoxy resin? I highly think that's what it is. And these dolls were dipped into it. And they were given that ability. But now I got to think something different now. What is epoxy resin? Well, epoxy resin is a plastic. So what type of paint did they have in the 1940s? Late 1940s. Oil paint. You're putting oil on top of plastic. They don't combine. Oil paint works better on wood. It adheres better to wood. If you look at a lot of these dolls, these Monica of Hollywood dolls, a lot of their faces are cracking, which tells me that the oil is being lifted up off the doll's face. What they needed was acrylic paint. Now, acrylic paint was created, but was it being used commercially? Not yet. Not until the 1950s, the early 50s. These dolls were being made in the mid-late 40s. And was acrylic paint being commercially used at that time? No. On dolls in the toy world? No, they were not. Not just yet. It's on the cusp of coming. And so I really feel oil paint was being used on these dolls, and it's just not adhering to that plastic on top. And this is why you're getting a lot of chipping, and a lot of the dolls' paint is falling off. Just about every doll I see, like these Monica of Hollywood dolls I see, are having this problem in their face, in the face, the facial area. So which tells me is the oil paint is drying up, not adhering. And even if it went in for a repaint, another artist painted this doll, more than likely still did not have their hands, or was not able to obtain acrylic paint just yet. It would be in a few more years the commercial part of life, they would get it, and slowly it would seep into the hands of the everyday person out there. It was just a matter of time. So that's why I think a lot of these faces are falling apart, like mine. You know, they're beautifully painted, but the only thing is that the paint is not going to stay on. It won't. So, which tells me now, what's my next step I got to do when I restore this doll? I will have to paint her face with acrylic. I can paint her body. It's composition. I can paint her body with oil paint, and I'd have to match it up pretty close to each other. That's just how it's going to have to go. And so this doll, for me, raises a lot of, I don't want to really say this, but it raises a lot of problems. But is it a problem that I can fix? Yes, I can fix this. I can do this. You know, it's just a matter of understanding the doll and what we're working with. But it all came out of Dolly Me's video yesterday that he made. So you really brought up something really interesting that I wasn't even thinking on this level until you made your video and you got your doll in. I'm sorry to see how the packaging is on your doll. The lady is responsible, because if all she wrapped it up was, I think you said tissue paper or something like that, not even bubble wrap, she should be held responsible first in that she didn't even wrap it up properly. Because I've had dolls come in boxes that were bent and they did okay, because why? They were bubble wrapped so well, the doll was fine inside. And if she had done that, your doll might have escaped the abuse it got from the package. Now, is the people who are handling your box responsible just as well? Yes, they are. Just as well. She did put a fragile sticker on it, but so that tells me she understood that the doll was fragile. Then why didn't she wrap it better? You paid postage. But postage just doesn't mean postage. It also means everything to wrap that doll up properly. You paid for that. So in that postage, it's just not for postage. It's also for bubble wrap. All the care that goes into that doll to go into that box. So you paid out money that she didn't even bother to buy the proper stuff. You paid out money that she pocketed. She was able to pocket it, and that's not right. She should be adding on in her postage how much bubble wrap she needs. She should be able to figure that out, how much to wrap that doll, how much it's going to cost to wrap that doll in bubble wrap. And if it's just a couple dollars, she should add those couple dollars on that for that to wrap that doll properly with. And that should have been included right in your postage. So she is, number one, the first one to be responsible. Secondly, yes, the people who handled the doll, the post office or whatever it came, what company she was using to mail your doll out with. So no excuses from none of it. She was held responsible. That's my words on it. And I would go after her just as well. She needs to be held accountable for wrapping a beautiful old doll like this in just matter of just like paper thin stuff. You don't do that. Your doll probably would have fared a lot better if she had done her end. And then you could blame it totally on the post office then if the doll did break. But she's held, first of all, responsible because you paid money for that in your postage. So that's where I'm going to end with that, Dolly Me. But anyways, yes, this is just paint lifting on the inside, not the doll breaking. It's just lifting paint. See there? Just paint coming. I'll pull it out. There it is right there. So, yeah. Lots to do on this doll here, but the thing is, you brought up a lot of great questions on this doll and things that I never even thought about. And I was wondering what this gray area was. I saw this when I opened her up. I thought, what is that gray area? What is that? Well, more and more I got looking at it and touching it and feeling it and everything. I noticed that is a coating. That's a coating on there. And that is what is to help that doll so that the composition would not fall apart. That's why these dolls can take their hair being washed. Now, my doll's hair is brittle too. She needs her hair washed and conditioned. You might have to do it a couple times, maybe several times to get the softness back of the human hair because her hair is brittle. And it's because the oils are dried out. There's no oils in that hair. And it's been in dirt. It's dirty hair, and it needs to be cleaned and looked after. But I'm excited about working on her coming up here. She's going to be a really neat project and something that's going to stretch my mind. But anyhow, that's exciting to see. And, but anyways, I hope you liked this video. I was able to shed some light on this for you, Dolly Me, what my thoughts are and what I'm looking at here. I'm starting to see things just a little bit different and what I need to do. Now, do I think it's Bakelite? No, I don't think it's Bakelite. I think it's resin that's on her. And she's been dipped. Her head has been dipped in resin. And to me, it's a plastic, and the paint, the oil paint, is just not adhering to plastic. Oil paint does not like plastic. It needs wood, that type of paper, that type of connection, where acrylic is made to go on plastic. So her face will probably have to be repainted with acrylic. And I'm excited to work with her and to deal with her. And now that I'm understanding a little bit more, I'm glad I just didn't jump right into her and started doing my own thing. Boy, there's been some thinking on this and how to restore one of these dolls properly. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. So that being said, I hope you like this video. I do have another one coming up. We're going to talk about another doll here. I am still working on my, what do you call it? Trudy doll. She's being mended some more here. I am working. I am doing as much as I can. And the time that I've got, even being retired, I don't know where. I did everything when I was working. But it's how it goes. But everybody have a great weekend. We're going to a corn maze. Got a dog who has his first birthday, Pepper, my dog. Not my dog, my grand fur baby. I have to think about saying that. My grand fur baby dog, Pepper, is his first birthday today, and so we're having a little birthday party for him, and we're supposed to go to a corn maze, but it's looking like rain, so we'll see if I go or not. But everybody have a great day today, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye. I'm coming with another video. Bye-bye.